Guys, the Ben Armstrong Bitboy crypto situation is getting messy, okay? Now, if you have been living under a rock or you just haven't been following crypto news, Ben Armstrong, who is the face and CEO of Bitboy Crypto, he was relieved from his company yesterday. Yes, his own company, right? And basically, TJ Shedd and Justin Williams came out with a statement yesterday on the show on Monday stating that allegedly he has relapsed back to substance abuse and that he's been financially, verbally, and physically abusing the employees, okay? And so this has been dominating the whole YouTube crypto space as well as Twitter, Reddit. I mean, this is huge news because Ben Armstrong is probably, if not the most well-known crypto influencer. And when I'm talking about influencer, I'm talking about YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. He's very recognizable, has a big channel, okay? Now, let's go over some of the things that were said. So Ben alleged, and this I was posting this in real time. I did listen to this was an MMA that Ben did on Telegram on his Bencoin Telegram, right? And I was listening live. This was at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. CST time, and Ben was about on there for about 40 minutes. So I listened through the whole thing when Ben was there, and then when Ben was done, he hopped off. So when he was done, I was done, and then I notated what was said. So first allegation is Ben alleges that TJ and Justin have bought steroids from him. Okay, now I'm not trying to clown, but what type of steroids is Ben Armstrong using? Because he don't, he don't really look like a swole dude or ripped guy. I don't know, man. Them steroids that he's using, he might want to get a refund. Obviously, we know that steroid use is illegal for the most part, unless it's prescribed by a doctor, right? Ben also alleges that the former partners had access to the liquidity pool, or may still have access to the liquidity pool of Ben, and they've been particularly dumping it. And by particularly, I mean TJ and his dad. Now, I find it interesting that they have access. It makes me wonder that maybe Ben shared that. I mean, obviously, the company and this is public, that they purchased crypto under the LLC, right? And so I'm assuming that, everybody puts a little bit of stake in, right? Because I remember during the bull run in 2021, they did a portfolio reveal and there was $30 million in that portfolio, right? That's a lot of bread. And then they did a portfolio reveal a few months ago. It's now down to 10 million. So guys, you have to remember, there's a lot of money that's at stake here. That's what I want people to understand. Ben also alleges that Justin Williams is the true mastermind behind the pump and dump schemes at Bitboy Crypto. Also, Ben alleges they didn't like him going to Dubai because they felt they would lose control of the company and be pushed out. Now, the word pushed out, those were his exact words, okay? And shout out to Currency 365. He was the one who brought that up on Monday, and I thought about it. I'm like, yo, that makes sense. And then you start to hear it on social media. I also heard it on my own channel when I was going live. But yeah, guys, I think it makes sense, right? It makes absolutely sense to me, right? Him wanting to go to Dubai, I'm pretty sure they were looking at it like, we're gonna lose control of the company because they're not gonna try to go to Dubai. Let's be real, guys. A lot of people, and I'm just assuming, right? But they probably have friends, family, and they're rooted in America, right? And not everybody wants to go to Dubai. Dubai, you don't really have freedom of speech like that. Dubai, you can't even own guns, right? If you're into guns, having the liberty to own firearms. Laws are different in Dubai. It's an Islamic country, and you got to follow their customs and their rules, right? Okay. Bitboy also says that He's not on drugs, but on diet pills. Says TJ's father is the CFO and who's not a CPA. Now, here I mistyped. I don't know if Ben misspoke or I mistyped, but accredited accountant is not the proper verbiage, but, a CPA or a degreed accountant, what have you. And he has not filed for taxes since 2020. Now, this to me was a major red flag. This is a major red flag. Here you have one of the biggest, if not the biggest crypto influencer, right? And his company hasn't filed a tax. They didn't file 2021 and they didn't file 2022 taxes. So they haven't filed taxes in the last 2 years. That is a red flag. And I'm going to talk more about that because you guys know I've interviewed my own CPA. Shout out to Bree if she's watching this. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, I stay active with her. Whenever I get a letter or, when it's that time to do it, I don't even play around like that. And this is one of the reasons why I always tell you guys, because I'm not a financial advisor or an expert. You guys know that. And that's why I always tell you guys, make sure that if you are in crypto and you're very active, that you get a CPA that know what they're doing. And TJ's father is the CFO of the company, chief financial officer. He's the accountant, but he ain't doing the accounting. Man, that's crazy. Ben says that things are going to get ugly, that his own former assistant is part of the coup, says that she came to his house to get information to use for nefarious purposes. Now, Ben was using the steroid story as an example of how he never sold the steroids at the office, right? But the steroids, when they were doing their drug deal, right? They never did it at the office. I guess they did it in private. But then he mentioned that one day she got the steroids from his house, and then he went to the office, and it was in the office. And then he said it was like a red flag. And another thing that Ben said, and I didn't tweet this, but Ben said that the building is not under his name because he had bad credit, and once he became a millionaire, he didn't care to fix it, which in my opinion is a huge mistake that he didn't care to fix it. So the building, the office that they're shooting at, is not under his name, and that's a major red flag. Ben states that the coup has been in the making for months, possibly years. TJ filed the trademark for BitBoy Crypto under his name. Another red flag, guys, and I'm gonna break this down. So TJ is the one that owns the BitBoy Crypto name. He trademarks it, okay? What does that mean? Well, what it means is that he owns that name. So if Ben tries to make a new YouTube channel and use it, he can't use it because if it's trademark, that means he's infringing on the copyright of that trademark, meaning that he could be sued for, copyright. And so this to me is a huge mistake by Ben. And, when I was listening to it, with the little bits that he said, I started to notice a pattern here, right? The accountant hasn't done the taxes in the last 2 years. You don't owe the name of the building, right? And you don't even own your own trademark. To me, guys, this is sloppy business. And one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because it's very important that when you do business, guys, that you educate yourself on this. You know what, guys? I'm not a plus business connoisseur, but I make sure that everything is under my name. You know what I'm saying? That trendsetters, everything is under my name, and then if you do business with other people, this is what happens where the other people, what people ask, what's the motive? Look, guys, it could be a situation where maybe they weren't seeing eye to eye. I don't know. I don't care to speculate. But one thing I do know about crypto is that it attracts a lot of greedy people, and a lot of people that are already greedy, it just exposes them for who they really are more so. And then there are a lot of people that may not be greedy individuals, but then they, especially when we're talking about going through a bull market, then they get greedy. But I think that this is what happened, guys. This guy, you guys got to understand, he built a brand with his name, right? His face, and he's been doing YouTube now 6, 7 years or so. I don't know the exact time. And he built one of the biggest brands on YouTube. I mean, his channel, the BitBoy Crypto channel, is the second biggest crypto channel on YouTube with over 2.4 million people. Could be less now because they're losing subs. And so imagine if you're with people that, and I don't know how he knows these guys, how he met them, if they've been friends or if he just met them along the way. But if you're with people that, they're looking at this, you're looking at it, these are my friends, but we're also doing business. But then you don't know, these people looking at it as, I'm not your friend, this is just business. And guys, this is something that I had to learn the hard way when I was doing business with some YouTubers, because I thought when I was part of the Pegosphere at one point, you guys know I was part of that lame space, right? I thought it was really a brotherhood. I thought it was about men working with other men to empower men in regards to self-improvement, life advice, and such. And then come to find out that these scoundrels, some of these, not everybody, but some of these guys in the Pegosphere, these scoundrels, they're criminals, they're scammers, they're liars. And if they lie to their own audience by lying to them about, something like how old somebody's girlfriend is, why wouldn't they lie to somebody that they're doing business with, right? So guys, I really realized really swiftly after I had a couple negative experiences, and one of the reasons I left that space is because these Negroes are messy. You know how they do when they have falling out, they like to make expose videos because these guys really, they'll do anything for clicks and views, right? But here's the reality, guys. At that point, I realized really quickly that with business, you got to make sure that everything is filed under your name, and also that you are on top of your paperwork, okay? That you're on top of your paperwork. And this is one of the reasons why I have an accountant, to make sure that my taxes are done right. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's important that, if you are in a situation where, let's say, you start to make a lot of money in crypto, 6, 7 figures, which some of you guys will be doing here within the next year or two, that then you have a lawyer as well, because you have to protect yourself, because there's a lot of people that want to take advantage of somebody. People think, oh, it's just about rug pulls. No, I mean, well, that makes my point too. It's like you have crypto developers that will do rug pull with no regard, and then they'll do rug pull again. You have certain people in the crypto space that's all they do is rug pull after rug pull, right? And because of the fact that in crypto you can be anonymous, right? Because privacy is something that's touted, it's easy for them to get away with it. And, I remember there was a time in crypto where you had to be doxxed, and you had to have a degree, and you had to have a resume, meaning that you worked for Google, Facebook, you worked for Tesla, you worked for some IBM, you worked for a big company that was reputable, because there are a lot of these crappy individuals in the space. And then 2021, when meme coin mania happened, all that went out the window for the sake of profits and greed. Okay. And so guys, so another thing is, Ben just posted this a few hours ago. These are allegedly lab results for a drug test that was done today. Now, typically, to my understanding, it takes about 72 hours to get drug test results back, but maybe he did an expedited or rapid drug test result, which are drug test results that you can literally get within an hour, I believe, right? And here you have his name, negative for heroin, negative for amphetamines, which is meth for Adderall, negative for cocaine, negative for Viagra, negative for marijuana, negative for opiates, and negative for PCP, right? So everything is negative. Now, guys, let me just say this. If this drug test is real, this is not some sort of a fake test, but this is a real test. In my opinion, this this is a major victory for Ben in regards to public optics and perception, right? Because remember, guys, those guys at the BitBoy Crypto, the crew, they were very vague on why Ben was fired from the company. And they still haven't really said anything, right? Now, they are alleging physical abuse. Now, Ben did admit that he never beat anybody, but he threatened to beat TJ because Ben found out eventually that the coup was happening, that this mutiny was happening. So I will say this, guys. Even with Ben, I don't think he's perfect and I don't think he's innocent, but he did say a lot of stuff that, in my opinion, would implicate himself, which makes me believe that he's telling the truth. So, for example, the steroids thing, he admitted that he uses steroids and that he used to sell it to them too, right? He could have spun that or not, or just not, but he told the truth on that, allegedly, or he put himself in a situation where it didn't make him look good either, okay? The fact that he admitted to the fact that he did threaten TJ. Now, I'm not saying that you should threaten somebody for violence, but he admitted that, hey, I did because I was angry. Okay? Verbal threats, right? Now, guys, another thing is that if he does sue for defamation because of the drug use, I do think that he has a case. If this drug test is legit and he sues for defamation, I think he has a case, meaning that he can win. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just what it is. Now, allegations of financial damage might be determined to be gaslighting to hide the Kearns team misappropriation of funds for hush money to keep employees quiet going to work. Now, what does that mean? So what it means, guys, is that there was one story that Ben told where he mentioned that there are 40 employees at BitBoy Crypto. And out of the 40 employees, only 5 employees have reached out that are riding with them. And one thing I like that he said is that those 5 employees, they still have a job. So that means that there are 35 people that are in on this coup, that are in on this mutiny, or you have a lot of people out of those 35 that are clueless. But there was one person that Ben claimed that came up to them and said, hey, they were asking me if you were using drugs or if you were doing something, and I told them I didn't know anything, and then they sent me 3 Eve to shut up. So what that tells me is, allegedly, that, TJ and Justin may have been paying the employees off as hush money. And if that's the case, then it would make sense. Because to me, guys, you have to think about it. How is the guy, he's the CEO of the company. How were they able to finagle this to the point that now they ran him off his own company? And unfortunately, guys, when you start to hear when Ben talked, it's bad business, right? He may be the face of the company, but the trademark doesn't belong to him. The building where they record every day, it's not under his name, right? The accounting is done by TJ's father, so he knows all the finances, probably better than he does. You know what I'm saying? And so Ben was even mentioning that if he may not win, then he'll just start from the ground up. And it makes sense to me because of the fact that BitBoy Crypto, you guys got to understand, Ben Armstrong is that brand, okay? Justin and TJ, those guys are asleep. Nobody, there are people that watch for them, but not really a lot. But I'm just saying that Ben Armstrong, he's the face behind BitBoy Crypto. He's got a big personality. He's got a lot of connection. He's very well known in the space. These other guys, they're just the workers. Let me just keep it all the way 100. They're just the workers. You know what I'm saying? And here they are. They're reposting crypto live bets and crap like that. Payouts and stuff like that. And you know what, guys? At the end of the day, I do think that they're gonna have to come out and eventually say something. They're going to have to come out and eventually say something, right? Because at the end of the day, the fact that they haven't really said anything, and they're keeping it hush hush. And Ben is coming just like I knew he would come, at 100 miles per hour. And he said, "Yo, I'm coming with the fire." Now I'm paraphrasing, but Ben Armstrong is basically saying, "Yo, I'm coming with all the smoke." He's talking about lawsuits, defamation. He's talking about I'm getting the company back. And you know what, guys? Once again, I know that there's a lot more to the story, but when it comes down to it, guys, I think what it is that they've been planning this coup Ben even mentioned for months. And I think that the reality is everybody got blindsided, including Ben. There's just no way that, guys, you got to understand, where you are the face, like that. That's like Trendsetter Crypto TV, right? You guys know I run that channel. And then all of a sudden, some girl comes in and says, "Okay, Solo's fired from this channel. My name is Bianca. This is my channel now." And I know people will be like, "Who's Bianca?" And by the way, I don't know no girl named Bianca. I don't want anybody to be like, "Yo, is Bianca Solo's girlfriend or wife?" No, I don't know any girl. It was just a random name. I like the name Bianca. It's a pretty name. So the reality is, though, from what I see now, from listening to that AMA, the biggest takeaway that I got from it is that Ben just did bad business. The trademark, he should have owned that. The building, he should have owned that. Even if it means that for him to rebuild his credit, it would have taken years. It would have been worth it, right? The fact that the tax filings haven't been done in 2 years. Once again, this is bad business. I don't like owing the government money. You feel me? Listen, you don't want to get yourself in positions where, now you're in a situation where these clowns basically took over. Now, does this absolve Ben from some of his past mistakes where people lost money in the pump and other coins that pumped and dumped, and that he alleges that Justin is the mastermind behind the pumps and dumps? No. I think that he should be held accountable for that, right? I mean, Bencoin, I checked Bencoin today. Bencoin is up. But what about other coins that he talked about? Okay? So yeah, guys, my thing is this. There's definitely going to be lawsuits coming. There's definitely lawsuits coming, guys. And it's going to get messy. It's going to be a lot of exposures. When you hear the fact that his secretary or assistant is in on it, it makes me wonder, like, why would she do that? What did you do to that girl for her to betray you? For her to come to your own house and betray you? But then also, guys, I know that I've been there, as a guy who worked with some of the biggest names in YouTube. When money is involved, people get greedy. When money is involved, people will do things that you didn't think people would do. There's a lot of people that, when money gets involved, they start acting, inhumane, because then they let that greed consume them to the point of, especially if they were broke before, right? Where they're like, I know what it's like to be broke. I don't want to be broke ever again. And they start doing shady stuff. That's why one of the things for me now is, if I do business with another YouTuber, which I haven't, but it's going to be, I need paperwork. Because like I said, I've been burned before, and I refuse to be burned again. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, guys, more to come. It's your boy Jones, and I'm out. Peace.